Archangel Michael's June 1st warning. What you're about to discover will shake your world. Anchored in the sacred moment of June 1st, a divine threshold stands before you, a door that does not open with human strength, but with heavenly timing. It is not merely a day on the calendar, it is a spiritual marker, a celestial line drawn in eternity. This is not the beginning of something ordinary. This is a divine unveiling, a sacred pulse that reverberates through realms both seen and unseen. On this very date, the heavens have set a clock into motion, one that counts down not in minutes or hours, but in destinies and decisions. And now, on this appointed day, Archangel Michael breaks the long silence that has stretched through your weary seasons like a desert without rain. For some time now, you have sensed a stillness, a pause, a heavenly quiet that both calmed and confused you. But that silence was not emptiness. It was divine preparation. The heavens have been watching, weighing, and waiting. And now, the time has come. The message is clear and urgent. This is not for all, but for the awakened. Those who walk in carnal sleep will not perceive this word. Those whose hearts are dulled by noise and distraction will scroll past the thunder. But you, yes, you who have felt the invisible hand guiding your path, you who have heard the whisper in the dark, you who have cried with no explanation, you are the one this moment calls for. You are not here by chance. You have been summoned by the echo of eternity to receive this warning, this revelation, this ignition of heavenly purpose. And hear this now. Heaven will reveal what eyes have ignored, that which has been hidden in plain sight. Dismissed by logic and discounted by the prideful, these truths will now erupt like fire from the sky. Not all will understand. Not all will believe. But those who are still, those who are surrendered, those who are sensitive to the divine frequency, you will feel it in your bones before your mind catches up. There is a condition, child of light. There is a requirement for those who would hear the voice behind this voice. You must be still. You must be ready. You must quiet the noise within you so the roar of heaven can be heard. Because this message does not shout over chaos. It speaks only to the surrendered. Only the quiet can hear this thunder. And now, the trumpet hath been lifted. The silence breaks. The first vibration of divine disclosure begins to roll across the realms. June 1st is not just a date. It is a door. And this message is the key in your hand. Type "I am chosen" in the comments if you receive this message. Blessing code 777 is now activated. I, Michael, servant of the Most High, guardian of the gates, commander of angelic legions, speak now into the hour appointed. Lift your spirit, open your ears, still your surroundings, for what is being spoken is not poetry. It is prophecy. It is not soft encouragement. It is sacred interruption. The heavens do not waste words, and today, the silence has been shattered. The heavens have released this word with the force of 1,000 storms, and Archangel Michael stands in the breach to deliver it, not in riddles, not in metaphors, but in motion, in movement, in mandate. This message is not general. It is surgical. It is not a cloud of encouragement for the masses. It is a flaming sword delivered to the awakened. Within the next 48 hours, something will shift. The timeline has already begun bending. Things have already started moving around you. What you feel isn't imagination. What you sense isn't paranoia. What you dream isn't just coincidence. There is a frequency reverberating from the throne room of heaven, and your spirit has been picking it up even when your mind couldn't explain it. And now you are here. Not by chance. Not by accident. You've been summoned to hear this trumpet. And I, Michael, have been dispatched to speak it. You have been marked, yes, marked, to see what others miss. You have been positioned, trained in secret, and set apart, not for ease but for awakening. Your eyes are different. Your heart is different. The things that break you, the questions that stir you, the spiritual warfare you face, these are not random afflictions. These are confirmations that you have been selected to perceive the things hidden in plain sight. And that selection comes with sacred responsibility. There are some messages that cannot be delivered in whispers. There are some words that require the force of thunder, and this is one of them. This warning is not metaphor. It is motion. It is movement in the atmosphere. It is the stirring of forces both holy and hostile. It is the clashing of plans, one of heaven, one of hell, and you are the battleground in between. Do not mistake this for poetic drama. You have entered a divine collision, and your awareness is your weapon. You've likely felt it already. The unease, the tension, the odd synchronicities, the dreams that carry weight, the strange conversations, the sudden pull away from people, from places, from paths that once felt comfortable. That's not confusion. That's calibration. That's heaven repositioning you without asking your permission, because what's coming cannot wait for your comfort. Heaven is on a timeline, and so are you. To those who are numb, this message will mean nothing. But you, if you are stirred in your spirit right now, you are the spiritually sensitive this word is reserved for. And this selectivity is not arrogance, it is accuracy. The deeper the calling, the sharper the cutting. The greater the destiny, the narrower the road. You are not called to agree with the crowd. You are called to carry the clarity that cuts through confusion. The Father is calling forth His remnant. He is calling those who can carry this word with reverence, who can war in silence and pray in fire. And so I say to you, warrior of light, this is your wake-up call. Heaven has waited long enough for your full attention. What you are about to see, sense, and experience is not a gentle push. It is a holy upheaval. Everything lukewarm is being shaken. Everything shallow is being removed. And only the rooted will remain standing. Listen carefully. This message is the dividing line. After this, things will not go back to how they were. After this, the choices you make, the alignments you keep, the spiritual postures you adopt, these will determine the measure of revelation and the protection you walk in. So I urge you now, as one who stands in the courts of heaven and wars for the righteous, pay attention. Be alert. Be still but not passive. Be present but not panicked. What is coming will require you to discern what's divine and what's distraction. And hear me when I say this. Within the next 48 hours, something shifts. Something subtle, yet seismic. A conversation. A cancellation. A closed door. A delayed message. A moment of clarity in the middle of chaos. Watch for it. Don't rush past it. Because that small movement is actually heaven's megaphone calling your spirit into attention. This is your time to remember who you are and whose you are. You've been under fire because you are under calling. You've been overlooked because heaven has been hiding you for the moment of release. And now, as this warning unfurls like fire in your chest, know this: you are not forsaken. You are not forgotten. You are being forewarned because you are being fortified. Type "I am anointed" in the comments if you receive this message. Blessing code 1122 is now activated. Listen now, for what I, Michael, declare next is not to create fear but to awaken fire. There is something stalking the spiritual edges of your life. and you felt it. You sensed it. You've seen it in glimpses, in the shadows of your dreams, in the sudden drop in your energy, in the unexplained heaviness, in the tears that fall without cause, in the moments where time feels warped and reality slightly bent. That's not your imagination. That's not your anxiety. That is your discernment flaring into focus. The spiritual atmosphere has shifted, and your soul knows it. You may not have had the words, but you've had the weight. You've been disrupted, internally disoriented. You've tried to pray, but your thoughts scatter. You've tried to rest, but you wake up more exhausted than you began. It is as if someone or something has been peering into your frequency, siphoning energy, invading boundaries, observing your moves, not with curiosity, but with calculation. And they, the unseen watchers, suspect your knowing, but they have no idea what's coming. Let me speak it plainly now. What you feel is not just emotional fatigue. It is spiritual surveillance. What you are sensing is the pressure that always precedes prophecy. The resistance you face is confirmation that you are walking too close to a truth the enemy hoped you would never uncover. You are a threat. Not because you're perfect, but because you're perceptive. And perception is power in the realm of the spirit. These disruptions in your emotions, this rising confusion, the mental fog, the unusual sadness, the swinging between apathy and anxiety, these are not random. They are strategic. Seeds of emotional instability have been planted by external forces. And the aim is clear: to cause internal collapse before divine clarity arrives. They know that if they can get you to doubt yourself, to isolate yourself, to shame yourself, you'll forfeit what's about to be revealed to you. But hear me now. The enemy is too late. You've already been marked. You've already been sealed. You've already been summoned into spiritual awakening, and no fog can blind a soul lit by fire. You are caught now in the swirl of the seen versus the unseen. Your natural eyes see delay, betrayal, tension, silence. But your spirit is picking up acceleration, separation, refinement, and divine focus. It's disorienting, I know. 1 minute you feel calm and clear. The next you feel forgotten and discarded. But this is what spiritual transformation feels like. This is what it means when heaven reclaims the territory of your soul. Look closer. The patterns are there. People have shifted around you suddenly. Conversations that used to flow now feel forced. You enter certain rooms and feel drained. You dream of faces that haven't crossed your path in years. There are no coincidences in the kingdom. All of it is alignment. Heaven is realigning you away from leeches and toward your launch. But the process is not quiet, and it's not comfortable. Because when the Lord begins pulling you out of old agreements, old friendships, old mentalities, there is always a ripping before there is a rising. You must endure the tearing to receive the revealing. Do not panic in this disruption. Lean in. Lean into what hurts. Lean into what confuses. Lean into the mystery. Because the mystery is actually where the message lives. Your unanswered questions are the very soil where God is about to plant an explosion of revelation. Do not numb yourself with distraction. This is not the time to scroll past your soul. This is not the moment to bury yourself in busyness or performance. You must sit in the tension. You must face the mirror. You must hold the questions without demanding the answers immediately. Because what is forming in this emotional swirl is a divine unraveling, and through it, you will be rewoven with strength that does not break, with sight that pierces shadows, with faith that does not tremble in storms. Let me speak prophetically to your heart. You are not broken. You are being broken open. The shell of who you were has cracked under pressure. But that's not your destruction. That's your expansion. The spiritual tremors are not earthquakes meant to destroy you. They are spiritual contractions meant to deliver the next dimension of your anointing. And though it feels like something is watching you, monitoring you, resisting you, heaven is also watching. Heaven is surrounding. Heaven is recording every tear, every whisper, every prayer. And soon, very soon, the disruption you feel will be exposed for what it truly is. A divine invitation. An invitation into deeper discernment, into greater authority, into sacred separation. This isn't just about emotional chaos. This is spiritual positioning. And now the choice is yours. Will you spiral in confusion? Or will you rise in stillness? Will you drown in questions? Or will you lift your eyes and say, even in mystery, I trust you, God? Because that surrender is what clears the fog. That surrender is what snaps chains. That surrender is what tells the enemy, you should have stopped me when you had the chance. You are not collapsing. You are coming into clarity. If this message resonates with you and you feel moved to support, consider giving a super thanks with contributions of up to $20. Your kindness helps us bring more powerful content your way. Also, if you'd like to support what we do, you can make a difference by donating through the support here link in the description of this video. Every contribution helps us keep creating and sharing more with you. Make sure you subscribe to the channel for more prophetic messages, sacred guidance, and spiritual revelations coming your way. Heaven always has more to say. Don't miss it. Type I am awake in the comments if you receive this message. Lesson code 4444 is now encircling you. This is not just betrayal. This is not just relational breakdown, sudden tension, or a season of emotional abandonment. Hear this well, child of the Most High. This is spiritual warfare. What you are in is not simply a difficult season. It is a targeted assignment, a battle cloaked in everyday events. And I, Michael, come to pull back the veil so you can see this clearly and fight accordingly. Yes, they betrayed you. Yes, they turned their back. Yes, they misused your kindness and misconstrued your purpose. But hear the word of heaven today. They did not attack you for who you are. They attacked you for who you carry. They didn't even fully understand the hostility within them. Many of them were just vessels, unaware that darkness had found a channel to access you. The enemy saw your light long before you understood your calling. He detected the oil before you even recognized your anointing. And so, he launched his assault not in the open, but in the subtle. In people close. In words that sounded right. In moments designed to drain you, not destroy you but weaken you before the revelation came. You've asked, why did they turn? You've asked, why now? And I, Michael, speak clearly, because the enemy saw you nearing the threshold of power. He saw you edging closer to the understanding of your role in the spirit realm. He saw heaven preparing to unveil the next layer of your identity. And he moved preemptively, trying to fracture your trust, confuse your emotions, isolate your heart. Why? Because isolation in the natural can often lead to vulnerability in the spirit. But I tell you now, this conflict is not personal, it is prophetic. This resistance is not rejection, it is redirection. The pain you feel is not punishment, it is preparation. And you must begin to view every attack, every disruption, every misunderstanding not as random, but as realignment. For the enemy does not waste energy attacking those who are no threat. The presence of warfare is the proof of spiritual weight. You are both the battlefield and the weapon. The enemy wanted to turn your heart against itself, to convince you that you are the problem, to bind you in false guilt, to tempt you into silence, to weary you until you surrendered your purpose. But no more. No more will you absorb false blame for attacks engineered by hell. No more will you carry shame that was never yours to bear. No more will you apologize for being chosen, called, and covered. The battle around you is a reflection of the authority within you. You are the weapon. You are the strategy. You are the miracle hidden in a mundane disguise. And though the enemy tried to blind you with emotional warfare, heaven has now intervened. I, Michael, stand before you today to declare, heaven sees everything. There is divine surveillance over your life. Not one tear has dropped unnoticed. Not one injustice has escaped record. Not one act of manipulation has slipped by the throne unnoticed. Heaven has watched. Heaven has waited. And heaven will respond. The time for reaction in the flesh has ended. You are not called to clap back. You are not called to argue with shadows. You are called to rise into spiritual posture. You are called to respond with obedience, because obedience will unlock the higher path. Obedience is your escape route. Obedience is your weaponized silence. Obedience is your supernatural protection. When you obey the nudges of the Spirit, when you pull back instead of retaliate, when you bless instead of curse, when you intercede instead of isolate, you step into the divine courtroom, and heaven begins to move on your behalf. Hear me, wakened one. You are no longer fighting for survival. You are standing in the realization that the war around you is confirmation of the calling within you. You've been pulled into this battle not because you are weak, but because you are woven into a holy mission. You've been provoked not to lose your way, but to find your warfare posture. And that posture begins with seeing the betrayal as the blueprint. Let go of the need to be understood in the natural. Your clarity won't come from the people who left. It will come from the God who stayed. Let go of the desire to be vindicated by human lips. The only voice you need to affirm you is the one that spoke the stars into being, and he is speaking now. You are not the victim. You are the vessel. You are not abandoned. You are assigned. You are standing in the eye of spiritual conflict, but now you are awakening to the authority that rests in your stillness. You do not need to fight the way you used to. You do not need to explain what they'll never understand. You only need to stand firm, to stay aligned, and to surrender to the sacred whispers of the Spirit. The battle is real, but so is the backing of heaven. The conflict is fierce, but so is the covenant you carry. And as of now, you fight not alone, but under divine command. Type "I am a weapon of light" in the comments if you receive this message. Blessing code 2211 is now activated over your battles. Hear this now, and hear it with the full weight of heavenly urgency. They are making moves while you sleep. While your body lies in rest, their plans do not. While your heart tries to heal, their schemes intensify. This is not paranoia. This is prophecy. This is the moment where heaven does not whisper, but roars into your awareness. Wake up, awakened one. Wake up, watchman. Wake up, chosen vessel. The time is now. I, Michael, commander of the host, wielder of divine flame, angelic guardian of the remnant, have not come to coddle you. I have come to caution you. This is not a gentle season. This is not a peaceful pause. This is a battlefield. And the spiritual intelligence flowing now from heaven's throne is not optional. It is survival. Before June 4th, expect confrontation. Expect signs. Expect the enemy to test the borders of your peace, but also expect heaven to provide strategic discernment. Expect divine clarity. Expect angelic assistance. For what is approaching is not to break you, but to bring your spirit into radical readiness. The plans being made behind your back are not hidden from the eyes of the Lord. The conversations you were not invited to, the messages left unanswered, the sudden shifts in tone from people once close to you. These are not coincidences. These are coordinated. But hear me now. Though the enemy moves in darkness, the light exposes all. This next phase will not be fought with fists or rage. It will be navigated through sacred awareness. Do not be deceived. The delays in your schedule, the strange technical glitches, the coldness in one's warm hearts, the unplanned resistance in mundane situations. These are not random misfires. These are spiritual indicators. Whispers, delays, distance, discomfort. All are signals from the supernatural realm that something has been activated. You are not imagining the tension. You are not imagining the heaviness. What you feel is the tightening of a spiritual net around you, not to trap, but to test. But you must not panic. You must not overreact. For only the still-hearted will have clear vision. In a time of high emotion, heaven favors those who move slowly, who speak sparingly, who pray ferociously. Do not let your reactions become your ruin. Do not let anger speak where silence was your sword. The temptation will be great to respond impulsively. But heaven is calling you to watchfulness, not warfare. You are not called to chase every ruer. You are called to anchor your feet in truth, in peace, in precision. This is the hour when your spiritual senses must be on full alert. You will feel things in your spirit before you see them with your eyes. You will sense betrayal in words that sound kind. You will feel warnings wrapped in laughter. And you will discern warfare behind casual invitations. But you will know. Oh yes, you will know. Because the spirit within you cannot be fooled. Not now. Not after all you've endured to reach this moment. This is not the time to run into confrontation. This is the time to retreat into consecration. The best warriors in heaven's army do not move in haste. They move in harmony with divine instruction. You are being trained now in the art of supernatural strategy. This is more than battle. This is a divine chessboard. The enemy thinks he's 3 moves ahead, but he forgot who commands your path. He forgot who writes your destiny. He forgot who guards your name in the courts of heaven. And I am here to remind him. Watch for the signs. Dreams will grow more vivid. Conversations will carry more weight. Your spirit will become more sensitive. Every moment matters now. Every response becomes a ripple in the realm of the spirit. And though the confrontation may come through a person, a situation, a delay, in your posture must remain unshakable. For if you stay calm, if you stay consecrated, if you hold your peace when they attempt to pull you into chaos, heaven will fight for you. Listen well. You do not need to know every detail to walk in victory. You do not need to anticipate their every move. You only need to be rooted in the Lord of hosts, shielded in stillness, and clothed in obedience. You only need to move when the Spirit says move, and speak when the Spirit gives utterance. Obedience is your invisibility cloak. It will hide you from attacks and expose your enemies in plain sight. Do not underestimate the power of quietness. The world says fight back. Heaven says stand still. And I say to you now, before June 4th, remain alert, remain grounded, and remain in tune. The confrontation may rise, but your spirit must remain steady. You will feel emotion, yes, but emotion must not lead. Faith must. Fire must. Wisdom must. And I, Michael, will go before you. I will encamp around you. I will block what you cannot see and fight what you were never meant to face alone. This warning is not to create fear. It is to create focus. And now, the call has gone out across the heavens. Mark my people. Chill my chosen. Surround the sensitive ones. Type "I am ready" in the comments if you receive this message. Blessing code 3333 has now been sealed over your timeline. Now is the hour of divine strategy. Now is the hour to trade noise for discernment, impulse for insight, and reaction for revelation. The warning has sounded, and the confrontation is on the horizon. But do not move in fear. Do not run in haste. I, Michael, have been sent not only to warn you, but to guide you. For you are not left exposed. You are not left vulnerable. You are being cloaked, even now, in the armor of heaven. And the first command I bring from the throne room is this: silence is your armor. Prayer is your weapon. You are being called into the quiet, not because you are weak, but because you are being hidden. Not because you are silenced, but because you are being shielded. When the world demands a response, give heaven your ear. When your enemies provoke you into emotion, retreat into stillness. There is something holy stirring in your spirit, and it can only survive if you withdraw from the clamor of carnal warfare. Your silence is not surrender. It is sanctification. It is consecration. It is alignment with divine frequency. The Spirit of the Lord says those who speak less in this hour will hear more. Yes, the loud will miss the shift. The hasty will outrun the help. But those who step back into sacred stillness will receive heaven's full download. So step back. Fall quiet. Let the fire of discernment burn. This is how warriors are made. This is how prophets are trained. This is how destinies are protected, not in defense, but in divine detachment. Pull away, not from your assignment, but from the distractions. Pull away from those who dilute your fire. Pull away from the conversations that confuse your clarity. Pull away from the emotionally unstable, the manipulative, the seductive voices that masquerade as connection but drain your purpose. This is not the time for emotional generosity. This is the time for spiritual preservation. You must withdraw to recharge your spiritual line. If you keep pouring while leaking, you'll deplete what heaven deposited. Prayer must become your protocol now. Not routine prayer, not whispered, casual petitions, but piercing prayer, dogged prayer. Prayer that does not plead but declares. Prayer that calls down fire. Prayer that invites angelic presence into the rooms where tension hides. You are not praying as a victim. You are praying as a vessel of divine justice. You are not interceding out of desperation. You are interceding as one seated with Christ in heavenly places. For I say to you now, no force formed against you shall stand. Not in the natural, not in the supernatural, not in the secret, not in the open. Those who plotted will fall in their own net. Those who cursed will see the curse return with correction. But the condition remains. You must stay still. You must remain in the presence. Stillness is not laziness. Stillness is not indecision. Stillness is spiritual synchronization with heaven's voice. It is tuning your spirit to hear what others miss. What others call passivity, heaven calls positioning. In the stillness, your spirit is being recalibrated. In the silence, your atmosphere is being rearranged. In the quiet, angels are whispering new instructions. Do not try to defend yourself. Do not try to explain yourself. Do not try to vindicate yourself. For the Lord says, I will defend you. I will justify you. I will elevate you. But only if you stay under my covering. Many are too quick to post, too eager to react, too emotionally undisciplined to hold power. But you are being set apart. You are being called into maturity. You are being trained in spiritual restraint. You are learning the difference between movement and momentum. For not every open door is your assignment, and not every confrontation is yours to answer. There is power in withdrawal. There is authority in refusal. There is dominion in quiet obedience. Let this be etched into your soul. Your power is preserved in your pause. Your discernment is sharpened in the shadows, and your reward is being cultivated in the quiet. Heaven is not late. Heaven is precise. And the more still you are, the more prepared you will become. Not just protected, but positioned. You've already sensed the inner nudge to pull back. You felt it in the fatigue. You felt it in the awkwardness of conversations that once flowed easily. You've noticed the sudden disconnection from people you used to trust. That's not rejection. That's redirection. That's heaven removing access from those who no longer align with your anointing. Obey that nudge. Do not force what heaven is detaching. Do not chase what God is silencing. You are under divine instruction now. Heaven is scripting your next steps in sacred ink. And the next few days are not about doing. They are about being. Being quiet. Being anchored. Being prayerful. Being still. Because in the stillness, the noise of the enemy is drowned out. In the stillness, you hear the voice that commands legions. So now, child of light, obey. Retreat to advance. Withdraw to win. Fall silent to rise stronger. Type I am shielded in the comments if you receive this message. Blessing code 5511 now guards your soul. The turning point has come. The winds have changed direction. The heavens are repositioning you, not in reaction to your pain, but in response to your power. And I, Michael, declare this next phase with holy boldness. They expected the old you, but now, surprise them with resurrection. You are no longer who they last encountered. You are no longer the version of yourself they attacked, ignored, underestimated, or misjudged. That version has passed away in the fire. And now, something new, something divine, has risen from the ashes. This is the shift. This is the divine reversal. This is the season where heaven whispers, enough delay. Now arise. Every breakdown, every betrayal, every dark night of the soul, it was all preparation. You didn't just survive it. You absorbed it. You transmuted it. You became something holy because of it. And the time has come to shake off the residue of victimhood. You have carried it long enough. You have wept long enough. You have doubted, questioned, second-guessed yourself long enough. Victimhood dies today. Warriorhood begins now. You may not have chosen the fire, but the fire chose you. And it did not come to destroy. It came to refine. It came to strip away illusions. It came to burn off the false layers others placed on you. It came to melt every counterfeit identity. You were burned, yes, but you were never broken. Because what was inside of you, divine resilience, sacred identity, the spark of God that cannot be consumed. A bird away was what was never meant to stay. The enemy tried to bury you in shame. But what he failed to see is that burial is also the beginning of resurrection. When the enemy closed the tomb, heaven opened a womb. And what you're carrying now, this fresh authority, this new clarity, this reborn boldness, is evidence that the grave did not win. The silence did not win. The betrayal did not win. You did. Heaven and you did. The word of the Lord over you did. Now, step into this knowing. Your wings have already begun to unfurl. Quietly, privately, while they assume you were still stuck, while they believed you had quit, while they spoke in past tense about your purpose, heaven was stretching your wings in secret. Now the power within you must come forth. Now, what was hidden must rise into visibility. No more apologizing for your fire. No more negotiating your worth with people too blind to see it. You have reached spiritual maturity. Not because you feel perfect, not because you have all the answers, but because you've endured contradiction without collapsing. You've learned to hear the voice of God even in silence. You've chosen obedience over comfort. You've chosen stillness over self-defense. You've chosen intimacy with the Spirit over applause from the crowd. That is maturity. That is fire-destined authority. That is the power hell fears. Listen closely now. You are no longer in survival mode. You are in activation mode. The oil has increased. The vision has sharpened. The mantle has dropped. The call had been confirmed. And now, your posture must change. Lift your head. Straighten your spine. Speak with weight. Walk with fire. Heaven has already approved you. Now act like it. They'll wonder how you're still standing. They'll question your peace. They'll stare at your smile and not understand the glory that held you together. And let them wonder. Because you owe no explanations for miracles. You owe no justification for favor. You carry the signature of the Most High, and that alone is your validation. This empowerment is not arrogance. It is alignment. You are not elevating yourself. You are simply rising to the level heaven already anointed. And I, Michael, release this over you now. Walk boldly in what they said you'd never carry. Declare what they said you weren't worthy to speak. Possess what they swore was out of reach. Because they lied. Lied. Doubt lied. But heaven always tells the truth. And heaven has called you chosen, royal, beloved, unstoppable. Let them feel your shift. Let them see your glow. Let them sense the weight of your words. Because what you carry now is not pain, it's power. What you radiate now is not trauma, it's transformation. The new you has arrived. The one who doesn't beg. The one who doesn't chase. The one who doesn't break under pressure. The one who rises over and over again. This is the shift you've waited for. This is the shift that justifies the shaking. This is your moment of holy emergence. And the earth has no choice but to recognize what heaven has already released. Don't forget to subscribe for more angelic messages, prophetic alerts, and divine insight that keeps your spirit armed and aligned. You won't want to miss what's coming next. Type "I am risen" in the comments if you receive this message. Blessing code 999 is now resting on your identity. This shaking is your unlocking. Let these words penetrate the deepest chambers of your spirit. Let them settle into your bones like divine fire. You are not being shaken to scatter. You are not being disturbed to be destroyed. What has felt like collapse is actually a sacred construction zone. I, Michael, tell you now with the full force of heaven's authority, this is not punishment. This is prophecy manifesting in real time. For too long, you have viewed your trials as delays. You have wrestled in the dark, thinking God was silent or distant. But in the throne room, your name was never silent. Heaven has whispered your name in divine courts, Not with pity, but with purpose. Not with frustration, but with fierce intentionality. The very trials that attempted to silence your praise have instead been used as the hammer and chisel to carve out your elevation. This shaking, the breakdown of relationships, the unexpected loss, the unexplainable interruptions, the closed doors, has not been a sign of your rejection. It has been a refinement of your revelation. You had to be cut away from what could not carry the next dimension of your calling. You had to be weaned from people, patterns, and places that would poison the prophetic promise rising in your soul. And now, I declare to you with heavenly clarity, the breaking of your life has broken your chains. You are no longer bound to the identity forged in trauma. You are no longer locked in the cage of pleasing others. You are no longer enslaved to delay, to guilt, to cycles of almost but never. The chains have shattered. And what's being built now is a new creature, a new sound, a new walk, a new vision. Heaven speaks. This is the doorway to your elevation. Not next year, not in the vague future. Now, this season, this very moment, is the divine hinge point between the you that survived and the you that soars. You are not climbing. You are being lifted. This is not hustle. This is harvest. This is not striving. This is supernatural shift. You don't have to prove yourself anymore. You only need to position yourself. And what hath been delayed was never denied. Oh yes, the promises lingered. The breakthroughs seemed buried. The words spoken over your life collected dust. But none of them died. They were preserved, guarded, hidden until your spirit could handle them without self-sabotage. They were not held back from you. They were held for you. Because now you are strong enough to carry them without compromise. The gates are opening. The frequency of heaven is shifting. You will begin to notice things aligning at rapid speed. Connections that once felt distant will appear. Resources will arrive through unexpected channels. People assigned to your elevation will begin to identify you, not by appearance, but by atmosphere. They will be drawn to the fire within you, not the facade around you. Because now, you radiate the glow of someone who has survived a divine shaking and lived to tell the story. There is a specific prophetic reason for why you had to go through so much private pressure, because what's coming is public. Your testimony is no longer just for encouragement. It's for evidence. You are becoming a living, breathing revelation of how heaven restores, how God delivers, how divine justice overturns the plots of hell. This is no longer about asking for confirmation. This is the season of walking in the manifestation. You've already heard the word. You've already received the dreams. You've already felt the nudge. Now heaven says walk it out. Don't wait for another sign. Don't ask for another signal. What you've been through is your sign. What you've survived is your validation. And what you carry now, this radiance, this resilience, this readiness, is heaven's signature that the time has come. Heaven is backing you. The angelic host is surrounding you. The throne room is watching you. And I, Michael, have been assigned not only to deliver this word, but to protect it as it births in you. Do not shrink. Do not silence yourself. This is your moment to prophesy your own elevation with boldness, with fire, with certainty. You will not go backward. You will not return to what once claimed you. You will not settle for the shadows when the spotlight of destiny has found your name. Rise now, with authority. Speak now, with clarity. Move now, with holy audacity. Because the heavens have spoken, this shaking was your unlocking. and your elevation cannot be stopped. If this message activated your spirit and you feel led to support, consider giving a super chat or super sticker. Your $5, $10, or $20 gifts help keep this word flowing. Every seed sown helps awaken others. Also, if you'd like to support what we do, you can make a difference by donating through the Support Here link in the description of this video. Every contribution helps us keep creating and sharing more with you. Subscribe now to stay connected to future revelations, angelic updates, and spiritual insight tailored for the chosen. Let heaven continue to feed your fire. Type "I receive my elevation" in the comments if this message is yours. Blessing code 8888 now opens what was once sealed. The heavens are now echoing one command: activate. Not in your strength, not in your flesh, not in fear, but in alignment with a prophetic current that has been circling your life since the day you were conceived. The time is not coming. The time is now. And I, Michael, come to release the decree from the throne. Destiny is knocking, and your voice is the key. You must no longer wait for a feeling to confirm your fire. You must no longer delay movement while praying for another sign. The prophecy has already been established. The mantle has already descended. The oil has already been pressed. Now, speak your yes aloud. For the heavens listen. Your yes is not just verbal. It is spiritual consent. It is permission for angels to move. It is the password that unlocks divine sequences in your timeline. Let it be known. Action ignites prophecy. Movement magnetizes miracles. Faith without obedience is a closed door with no key. It is not enough to dream. It is not enough to receive. You must now respond. You must move when the Spirit speaks. You must do what your fear says is too risky, because your boldness now determines the movement of heaven on your behalf. You are not waiting on God. God is waiting on you, waiting on your surrender, waiting on your motion, waiting on your faith to align with His Word. Heaven is already in position. The resources have already been assigned. The angels have already been dispatched. But your yes, your bold, firm, undeniable, irrevocable yes, is the signal that permits all of heaven to intervene. This activation cannot be faked. It must be full. It must be fierce. It must be final. No more half steps. No more delayed obedience. No more waiting for perfection before action. Heaven isn't asking for your perfection. It's demanding your participation. Because your destiny was not designed to remain dormant. Your future isn't waiting on another prophecy. It's waiting on your posture. And posture is power. What you say now matters. What you declare now holds weight. Do not curse your season with passive language. Do not water down your call with fearful self-talk. The same breath you used to cry, now use to command. The same lips that trembled in fear, now speak in fire. Line your mouth with your mission. Stop speaking like the version of you that was still unsure. Speak like the one who had been tested, refined, called, and confirmed. Speak like the one the enemy tried to bury. Speak like the one heaven resurrected. Speak like the one who doesn't just carry a calling. You embody it. This activation won't just shift your life. It will shift your lineage. Your words will alter the spiritual DNA of generations. Your boldness will break cycles your family couldn't. Your yes will open doors your ancestors only dreamed of. You were not born to repeat history. You were born to write it. But I must say this with urgency. Fear delays fulfillment. Every time you hesitate in obedience, you stall what heaven intended to accelerate. Every time you shrink when you should stand, retreat when you should rise, doubt when you should declare, you give ground to darkness. But not today. Today, you reclaim that ground. Today you say yes, not with trembling, but with triumph. Rise, and the path will reveal itself. Heaven doesn't show the full staircase to the hesitant. It only illuminates the next step to the bold. You will not see it all, but you will see enough. Enough to move. Enough to trust. Enough to step out and not drown. And as you move, the path will part. The waters will open. The provision will come. The confirmation will follow your courage. You don't need their approval. You don't need the applause. You don't need the invitation. Heaven has already issued the summons. Your spirit already knows this is real. Your heart already knows this is the moment. And now your mouth must agree. Your life must follow. And the world will adjust to your obedience. Your destiny isn't just calling, it's commanding. It's time to rise, chosen one. It's time to activate what's been dormant. The Lion of Judah is roaring within you. The host of heaven is rallying behind you. And I, Michael, stand with sword drawn and wings spread to shield your movement and strike down opposition. You are not alone. You never were. But now, you must act like it. You must live like one commissioned. And you must walk like one who knows this life is not yours. It is God's instrument on earth. Type ISAYYES to Destiny in the comments if you receive this message. Blessing code 1717 has now unlocked the gates before you. There are moments when heaven speaks loudly, and then there are moments when heaven moves in silence. Do not confuse stillness with absence. Do not mistake quietness for inactivity. Just because the noise has died down does not mean the war has. And I, Michael, declare this now. While you slept, angels have warred. While your physical body rested, your spirit was being fought for. While your emotions collapsed in weariness, heaven was negotiating what the enemy tried to steal. You were not awake for it, but the record has already been written in the spirit. This was no ordinary night. This was not a casual delay. This was an interdimensional courtroom, a sacred exchange where the cries you whispered, the tears you wept in secret, the words you never voiced, were all brought before the throne of the Almighty. Heaven did not forget. Heaven did not turn a deaf ear. Heaven recorded everything. And here is the revelation. What was stolen is being divinely negotiated back. Every opportunity that was taken from you unfairly. Every promise that felt delayed without reason. Every season that seemed swallowed by confusion or sabotage. There has been a holy reversal in motion. And it began without your permission. It began while you were too tired to fight for yourself. Because that's what divine justice does. It moves when you can't. It steps in when the enemy believes you've been silenced. It wars on your behalf not because you demanded it, but because you are loved beyond understanding. Let this sink into the marrow of your bones. You are spiritually richer than you appear. Others may only see your struggle. They may only know your current status. But heaven knows your inheritance. Heaven sees the titles no man gave you. Heaven knows the deposits in your spiritual account. The ones earned in obedience, in restraint, in intercession, in pain. You may have been quiet on the outside, but in the spirit realm, you have been thundering. Your silence has power. It has been used as currency in the heavenlies. While others used their breath to slander, you used yours to worship. While others spread gossip, you spread grace. And heaven took note. Every moment you chose dignity over reaction, peace over retaliation, trust over revenge, those moments counted. Tears are a language, and heaven speaks fluent weeping. You thought your silence was passive, but in truth, it was a transaction, an exchange, a holy offering. You've been unsettled lately, and not because something is wrong, but because something is moving ahead of you. Heaven is preparing rooms you haven't walked into. Elevation is occurring without your knowledge. Angels are making introductions in your absence. Your name is being spoken in places your feet have not yet reached. Attention you felt, that unusual pressure. It's your spirit picking up on what your flesh hasn't yet seen. Movement. Manifestation. But this exchange is not only about reclaiming the physical. First, heaven is restoring your soul. Before substance comes strategy. Before wealth comes wisdom. Before the elevation comes emotional reinforcement. And I tell you now, by divine decree, the restoration begins. Soul first, and substance. Heaven is healing your inner world before releasing the outer reward. Because if you carried your old pain into your new platform, you would self-destruct. So heaven, loving you too much to let you sabotage yourself, has delayed some doors until your heart could hold the weight of the promise. But now the shift has come. The healing is accelerating. The brokenness is being stitched with golden thread. And the person you were even 1 month ago is not the person rising today. There is a stillness in your spirit now, a knowing, a grounding, a divine maturity that whispers, I don't have to fight for it because it's already mine. That's what this exchange has given you. Not just blessing, but confidence in your inheritance. So walk with that assurance. Don't let the quiet fool you. Heaven's silence is strategic. It is the kind that comes when final touches are being placed, when scrolls are being sealed, when decrees are being stamped with gold. You are not behind. You are not forgotten. You are walking into a pre-finished promise, one that was signed while you slept, fought for while you wept, and now it will manifest while you worship. Let them think you disappeared. Let them assume you've been silenced. Let them forget your name, because heaven never did. And very soon, what was done in secret will erupt in sight. This is the silent exchange, and it has changed everything. Type I receive heaven's restoration in the comments if you feel this word. Blessing code 2020 is now restoring what eyes have not seen. Justice is not delayed. It is gathering weight. And I, Michael, sent forth from the throne of Yahweh, speak this now with unshakable certainty. Retribution belongs to the Lord, and it is in motion. You have waited in silence while injustice danced loudly around you. You have kept your peace while others scattered falsehood in your absence. You have endured the sting of betrayal, the slow ache of being misunderstood, the grief of seeds sown yet unharvested. But the heavens have not been idle. Heaven has been watching, and heaven is now responding. Make no mistake, this is not human justice. This is not a courtroom verdict, or a social apology, or a sudden act of revenge. No, this is higher. This is divine reversal. The kind that cannot be blocked. The kind that answers not to timelines but to divine alignment. What was meant to harm you is being returned, not just in defense but in divine recompense. And what was taken will not be replaced with what you lost. It will be replaced with more. Yes, what they sent to harm you is being returned with interest. The curses, the slander, the betrayal, they were not just wrong. They were recorded. They were seen by the eyes of heaven, and now the scale has tipped. What once felt like imbalance, like injustice without end, is now coming into supernatural alignment. Those who cursed you in secret are being exposed by truth. Those who manipulated your goodness are facing the mirror of their consequence. And while this happens, you are not to touch it. You are not to speak against them. You are not to chase vindication, because God is vindicating you himself. Justice in the kingdom does not operate like human revenge. It does not punish to destroy. It restores to reorder. What is returning to you is not just reputation. It is revelation. It is recognition. It is respect. The kind that only comes when the tables turn without your hand forcing them. The kind that shifts atmospheres without your voice raising a single word. This is not the fruit of pride. This is the reward of obedience. For months, even years, you have been sowing in silence. You've forgiven without applause. You've let go without closure. You've interceded for people who misuse your name. And heaven recorded it all. Tears that hit your pillow were placed in vials. Prayers uttered through gritted teeth were written in scrolls. Acts of restraint that no one noticed were witnessed by angels. And now, the spiritual cease was tilting in your favor. There is a holy imbalance, and it's swinging toward you. The dishonor you endured will be repaid in honor. The loss you carried will be returned as gain. The silence that isolated you will be filled with the sound of celebration. But again, let me remind you, this is not about revenge. This is about divine justice, restoration, redemption with interest. You must not return to small thinking. You must not go back to questioning your value based on what they could or could not see. Heaven's hand is tipping justice, and when heaven moves, every opposing force bows down. No curse can compete with covenant. No gossip can override grace. No darkness can delay a destiny ordained by the mouth of God. Prepare now, not for battle but for vindication, not to defend, but to be delivered. The next few days may surprise you. The very mouths that spoke against you may suddenly speak in your favor. The very people who dismiss you may be used to elevate you. The situations that once felt closed off may open without warning. This is divine reversal in real time. And remember this, the justice coming to your life is not only yours, it's generational. What God writes in your life will ripple into your bloodline. Cycles of injustice are being broken now. Chains of silence, abuse, and misunderstanding that plagued your family line are being shattered. You are the turning point. You are the bloodline breaker. You are the divine reversal embodied. Type "I stand for justice" in the comments if you receive this word. Blessing code 4646 now strikes the gavel in heaven's courtroom. The word has been released. The warning has been sounded. The revelation has been unveiled. Now, as the atmosphere shifts and the realms respond, I speak this final impartation with the full authority of heaven. You are seen. You are shielded. You are selected. The path ahead will not resemble the pain behind. The road before you is drenched in oil, cleared by fire, and protected by the armies of God. You do not walk forward alone. You walk with heaven at your side. I, Michael, seal this word over you now with angelic witness. This moment is not just spiritual insight. It is spiritual activation. Every line you've heard, every word you've felt resonate deep in your belly, every tear you've cried as the truth pierced through. This was not just emotion. It was encounter. The Spirit of God has marked this word as a mirror and a mantle. You didn't just hear this. You were awakened by it. Let this be your final declaration tonight. Let every enemy of my destiny be exposed. Say it loud. Say it with authority. Say it from your belly. Because that decree releases the angels. It shatters hiding places. It demolishes strongholds. No more delay. No more deception. No more playing small when you've been called to reign. This shaking was never meant to destroy you. It was always divine construction. Heaven has been building you in the middle of what felt like breaking. The foundations are set. The path is clear. And I declare that no weapon, no whisper, no delay, no demonic interference shall prosper from this moment forward. You have been fortified by fire, sanctified by stillness, elevated through obedience, and now released by decree. I command the angels assigned to you to encamp tightly around you, to silence every false voice, to cancel every witchcraft operation, to shield every step you take. You are no longer vulnerable. You are covered. You are no longer under, but above. You are no longer trying to find your way. Heaven is now directing your every step. So go forth with fire in your bones and praise in your spirit. Go forth knowing that what has begun in the unseen is about to erupt in the seen. This word does not end here. It walks with you. It will echo in your dreams. It will reappear in your prayers. It will meet you in divine timing. And you will never be the same. This is Archangel Michael's final seal. You have crossed over. From waiting to walking. From wondering to knowing. From surviving to reigning. And nothing, no man, no demon, no circumstance, can unmark what heaven has ordained. Type "I am walking in my divine construction" in the comments if this message sealed something in your spirit. Blessing code 3131 is now walking ahead of you. Thank you for allowing this message to flow into your life. Heaven watches, records, and responds.